What did Spotify say about the timing and rationale for cutting 1,500 employees?
Yeah, so today Spotify's CEO Daniel Ek put out a blog post sort of explaining the cuts. He said basically these decisions were going to have to be made possibly over the next couple years, and that he decided to just rip the band-aid off and cut a bunch of people all at once. He essentially said that yes, they've cut operating costs quite a bit, but not enough, and that they needed more people to go and more people to focus on their core mission, which is building for creators and consumers.
Yeah, I think just realigning the fact that too many people were ultimately building things that weren't core to the ultimate mission of building profitability, of building margin, and that seems to be what analysts like so much at the moment, Ashley. And it's interesting that a lot of them are saying eventually margin is going to be buoyed by what have been some really outsized commitments to the world of, well, podcasting in particular.
Yes, yeah. So the story of Spotify really is that they, since 2019, have committed over $1 billion to the podcast world. They bought studios, they bought creation technology, they bought a hosting service. And really what we've seen over the past year is just a total backtrack on that business. And I imagine as we learn more about today's cuts, we'll hear about how that impacts their podcast business as it is.
You know, it's interesting. Loads of technology companies have gone through this, the micro focus on profit. The other metric you can look at is say, well, actually, Spotify is on track for an astonishingly good year. 100 million new subscribers or users it's going to add based on how it's done so far. What is the overall health score for Spotify, Ashley, based on your reporting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's very puzzling here, right? Is they've had amazing growth from a monthly average user perspective. They do have more free users than subscription. So that's an issue. You know, they want to be able to monetize those subscriptions more. But broadly speaking, they continue to grow, which is pretty incredible. I think they just have to figure out what is going to be the way that they make more money because they keep having to pay these music rights holders, which makes a ton of sense. But they also need to find other revenue opportunities. So we've seen price increases, we've seen them cut costs, we've seen them move into podcasting, and then very recently they moved into audiobooks. So maybe that'll be the magic bullet. I don't know.
And all of this at a time where Daniel Ek does speak about the macro realities as well. He talked about the fact that, look, money's more expensive than it used to be. Borrowing costs have been on the rise. This is perhaps just really trying to, instead of what we started to talk, these micro cuts that are happening at tech companies at the moment, he's just, as you say, ripping the Band-Aid and just showing his intent to still have this year of efficiency, to coin a meta phrase.
Yeah, and I don't know if we noted it at the top, but this is the third round of cuts this year. So They did a significant chunk in January. They did another chunk in June, which was primarily the podcast team. And yeah, now here we are with the biggest cut that they've made all year. So overall, over 2,000 employees will have lost their jobs.